And welcome into the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. My name is Chris Pelican, joined by Grant Salzman. And again, this is the Mizzou Central postgame show brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And folks, whew, that was a good one. Tigers win in College Station against the team that's resided near the top of the SEC conference for most of the year, Texas A&M. They've fallen back since, but a win on the road against a team that was favored by 6.5 points. I mean, no question, a signature win for Dennis Gates' team this year. Folks, we would love for you to jump into the chat. A lot of you are already doing that, so leave us your comments in the YouTube chat. While you're down there, please leave us a like and subscribe, please, and we'll kind of go from there. But Grant Salzman, what do you say? I mean, again, just as fun of a game as there's been to watch for this team, and I think that I speak for a lot of Mizzou people when I say, clearly a lot of doubts about this team earlier in the season, especially after their little back-to-back KU Illinois disaster. But dare I say, is this team finding itself in the back third of the season? I mean, when it obviously matters the most. Great win. Your thoughts on a 1-point win in College Station?
Yeah, I think the last two games they put together, their two most complete games so far this season. It's been when they needed it most. Two road games. They went out, they dominated South Carolina. That game was never really a contest, and they come in against a really good A&M team that, buckyball, they're rolling a little bit. And, it came in, they were stumbling. They lost their last two, and you took advantage of that. The game plan was executed perfectly. I think it could be Dennis Gates' best game at Missouri, coaching-wise. The game plan was great. That final play to Phillips was amazing. But what a win. You look now, you're 7-4, and I talked about it this morning on the show. You're either after tonight going, man, we're in the top four. We're tied for fourth place, double bye in the SEC. Or you're looking, oh, no, we lost. We're 6-5. We're going to be right on that bubble trying to fight. This gives you a little bit of breathing room. Now, I'm not saying that they're a lock for the tournament, but all of a sudden, it's a lot easier to go 3-4 or 4-3 in the SEC now than it was before this game, obviously. But what a win. And I'm just thinking to myself, don't let it end like last year. Wade Taylor the fourth had that dagger, that buzzer beater against us. And then I even said out loud, well, they don't have Wade Taylor. No Wade Taylor. He was the clutch guy. And hey, the man we ranted about after the Georgia game, Sean Phillips, for getting slayed by a 5'10" man named Smurf, came up when Mizzou needed him most. He played good defense, blocks a Agee shot, and Tigers are victorious. What a night for Missouri.
Yeah, and Grant, I would totally agree with your comment there. I mean, this game, this is a funny one, and I look forward to some of the viewers' comments on this thing because I've watched A&M play a couple of times this year, and I will freely admit that, I really like Bucky McMillan. The way that they play offensive basketball is great. I mean, I'm a big constant movement fan. They do it so well. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure A&M from a talent standpoint is really that good of a team. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I would say that the athletes Mizzou put out there tonight far eclipsed what A&M did. Now, again, having said that, this is not basketball is not a one-guy game, right? I mean, basketball is how do you play as part of a team, and Texas A&M does a really, really nice job of that. But what I will say is the Tigers defensively, first half allowing 12 3-pointers. Second half, it seemed like A&M was sort of doing what they wanted to do at will. This was not a great defensive effort by the Tigers tonight. But to your point, when it mattered the absolute most, they maybe had one of their best defensive possessions with 5 seconds to go in the game. And like you said, Sean Phillips was there contesting that shot. I mean, really, again, this is what this is all about at this point in time. It's making the plays when you have to make the plays. That's sort of the entire theme of March. And tonight, a team in this Missouri team that seemingly has not made the plays more often than not, they made the plays when they had to, because I thought when A&M overtook that 8-point lead that the Tigers had with about 8 minutes to go, I'm like, well, this one's over.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they really showed their stuff. So again, this is my hope with this team, Grant, is this team is the team right now is what we thought we would see from the start. And, I will tell you, I love the fact you've been on this program the whole year. Kareem and I and you, we've talked about this rotation and how many guys they played tonight, Grant. They played 7 guys tonight. Trent Burns came in with 2 seconds to go in the first half to mess with an inbounds pass. But the 7 guys who we all know belong on the court for the entire game played. And so, again, I'm rolling into this mindset that maybe, just maybe, that the team has found itself. Here we are in game 24 of the season, but they found themselves. And again, with college basketball, that is the time to find yourself.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defensive performance. Not a lot of teams have a good defensive effort against this A&M team, the way they play basketball. And it kind of reminds me of this team of 2022 Mizzou, where you look and you're like, this guy, like Noah Carter, Nick Honor, like these guys shouldn't be that good. And they come out and they beat you by 20. They're running up and down the court. They're scoring 100 points. They're making threes. They're getting steals. Like this A&M team is built a lot like that. And Mizzou proved today they're a tough kill. I mean, A&M makes 11 first half threes. Most of the time you're thinking, okay, we made 11 threes in the first half. We're up by 15, 20. Mizzou was only down 4. Like it felt like after that first half, because we all knew, I mean, even A&M fans had to have known the regression was going to come in the second half. They weren't going to make 11 threes. So being down 4 felt like only being down, being tied really. And Mizzou came out, like you said, got that 8-point lead and then kind of, gave it away, thought it was over. They found a way to hang on. Rockstar Journey talking a little bit about Mizzou's bubble. I think he said earlier they still need to win their next 3 to get the attention of the committee. Honestly, I think if they beat Texas, you're looking at a team that might even move off the Dayton line of the committee and move into the 10. I'm going to be pretty confident that in any bracketology you see that comes out between now and Saturday, Mizzou will be in the tournament. Again, it's February 11th. It doesn't really matter. But if you can consolidate, I think the most important game now of the season is this Texas game. Because if you can consolidate this win into a victory over Texas, that's how you stack momentum. All of a sudden, if you lose to Texas, you're looking at Vandy and Arkansas going, oh no, if we don't win one of these games, what's going to happen? I think if they beat Texas, Chris, and they're 8-4, even if they lose to Vandy and Arkansas, which will both be, they'll be underdogs on the road at Arkansas, probably be a coin toss against Vandy. I still am not feeling like doom and gloom. You're 8-6 in the SEC. You've played very well. But if you lose to Texas, that's where you have a chance that it's a 1-1 week, kind of what we expected anyway. Because I think on paper you were expecting a loss tonight and a win on Saturday. What does flip-flopping them really do unless you beat Texas on Saturday?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you look at Texas and Vandy, the next 2 opponents, and they're sort of doing this at the moment, kind of going different directions as teams. And so, Texas is obviously a team that's on the rise at this point in time. They've got the high dollar coach in Sean Miller. They've got a pretty nice roster. Vandy loses a tough one at home over the weekend. And so all of a sudden you kind of see these 2 games maybe a little bit differently, but I would agree. I mean, this is going to be a high level test. And on top of that too, we always want to sit here and I'm hoping that this is a springboard momentum wise for this team, but you always got to worry about the letdown. I mean, this is an extraordinarily emotional win tonight. Mm-hmm. And in 3 days, they've got to play a really, really good team at home. You would very much hope that Mizzou Arena is insane on Saturday night. Take your Valentine over to Mizzou Arena and scream your head off, because I mean, that's what's going to take. But, again, I just, I would agree with your sentiment. I think this win moves them off of the next 4 out. I believe that's where they were still as of today with Joe Lunardi. But this is a high level quad 1 road win, and this is a resume building win. There's no 2 ways about that. So also wanted to throw in some stuff. I think a bit earlier, one of our buddies, I believe it's that. Hold on, I'm looking up. I can't go up. There was a discussion about the rebounding. Okay. And if we're going to talk about this, we got 10 minutes into this whole conversation tonight. We didn't mention the rebounding in this thing. And yeah, my cat Piper with the comment of the night so far. I mean, this, you talk about any team that is 60% from 3 with 12 made threes in the first half, like Texas A&M was. that the game theoretically should have been over, but there was a massive rebounding discrepancy. It closed as a little bit in the second half, but a 39-26 final on the rebound. I mean, that is the entire story as to why the Tigers won this game. A bunch of offensive boards. There was a point in the second half where Mizzou had as many offensive rebounds as Texas A&M had total rebounds. And so when you run into things like that, I mean, there's these huge gaudy statistics like 60% from three, 12 made threes, and then you have all these rebounds. And so there's all these things going at each other. But at the end of the day, I mean, the rebounding was the factor in this one. And, you know, good for Dennis Gates for understanding that his team had a significant size advantage. And, you know, I don't know if that was probably part of the message leading in, is that they had to completely and totally dominate the glass, which they did, to his credit.
Yeah, it totally dominated the glass. A big size difference. Like he is, I believe he's 6'8", but he plays larger than that.
Yeah.
He's their big man down low. I know that Clements has some size as well to him, but this is
He's more of a stretch, yeah. So
we've been calling it that we've been talking about this size. They're one of the lengthiest teams. They're one of the biggest teams in all of college basketball, but a lot of their size is lanky size. You know what I mean? Trent Pierce is 6'10", but he's lanky guy. You know, they have a lot of that. Trent Burns is 7'5". He doesn't really play, and he's lanky. But then you go Sean Phillips, 7 foot. And finally, we saw the size really have an impact. They win the rebounding battle by 13. I thought it was Sean Phillips' best game he's played as a Tiger. 12 points, 8 rebounds. He played great defense. Like it was the game plan worked perfectly. You see the lobs going in. They dominated paint points. They dominated the inside of this game on both ends. And you say it wasn't a great defensive performance. Part of the defense too, though, I think, is that hustle and that rebounding. And they did a great job of it. I mean, the boards won Missouri this game.
No two ways about it. He is Grant Salzman. I'm Chris Pelican. This is the Mizzou Central Postgame Show right here on STL Sports Central. It is brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And it's also brought to you in part by the Legal Buddy app. Life happens fast. 1 minute you're driving home, the next flashing lights are in the rear view. When trouble knocks, answer with confidence. With the Legal Buddy app, you can connect to a local attorney in seconds, whether it's a DWI, car accident, criminal charge, or traffic ticket. Download the Legal Buddy app today at legalbuddyapp.com. Register and use the code LEGAL to enter for a chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card. Always on your side. That is the Legal Buddy app. So you mentioned Trent Pierce, and I think that Sean Phillips probably did play his best game of the season. I think it's hard to argue that Trent Pierce played his best game of the season. Trent Pierce was extraordinarily efficient tonight in leading the Tigers in scoring 23 points, also leading the team in rebounding. I agree with you. He is lanky. He wants to stretch. He wants to be out around the three-point line, but he did what he had to do today to get 9 rebounds as well. So, you know, Trent Pierce, Kareem and I talked about this a lot early in the year. You know, he obviously didn't play the first almost 10 games of the season, I believe. Jaden Stone had some injury issues early in the season. I don't know that I would have thought that those two guys would have been as pivotal to this team as they are. But I mean, it's hard to think about this team. It is hard to think about this team going anywhere without Trent Pierce and Jaden Stone being massive pieces to what they do.
Yeah, I tried to tell you, Chris, in December. I tried.
You were right. I made a lot of crow with this team, man. I was like the head of the T.O. Barrett, like hate wagon, and T.O. Barrett is just getting better every single game. Again,
this is the good crow to eat, though. When you hype the team up and they're bad, that's the bad crow to eat. You're okay with this because they're winning exciting games. Brendan Schaefer, contributor here at STL Sports Central, he tweeted, if you can go 7 guys with this against this press, against this team, you can go 7 guys against anyone in the country. They press 100%. After every made basket.
No, after every basket, not every made one, too. I mean, this is their pressing. Yeah.
Yes. That gamer guy, Mizzou fan, says T.O. wasn't really as big a part of this game as he usually is. Don't get me wrong. He was still good, but I don't think he had as good a game as other games, which is funny. And I'm not disagreeing because it was – I was watching it. Obviously, I wasn't really checking the box score. And after he commented that, I was like, I better double check. I thought T.O. had a decent game. He had 17 points, 8 for 13 from the field, made a 3 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, a block. And, I'm not disagreeing with them because that might be the quietest 18 points I've ever seen or 17 points. He was really efficient tonight. It wasn't like, oh, no, T.O. It was easy almost. He was driving the lane, layup, get back on defense. Like there was nothing flashy about his performance tonight, but it was an amazing performance from T.O. Barrett.
Well, and my knock on T.O. Barrett early in the year was not T.O. Barrett's been a fearless player since he walked on campus. I mean, that is his game. He will go into the trees, and he's got a little, for those old school guys, he's got a little Mike Dixon in him in terms of just being, T.O.'s not a small guy at all. T.O.'s 6'4", and T.O.'s built pretty well. I mean, he's a strong guy, but he's not afraid. My rub on T.O. was threefold, right? Can't shoot the basketball. I still think that might be
a little bit better.
That was one.
That crazy 1-footed three today.
Number two, I didn't think the guy could defend very well. And you know what? Honestly, I believe that early in the season, he couldn't. And he has taken I don't know if he's been challenged by the coaching staff, but his intensity on defense, and tonight, maybe not the best example. They were kind of caught running around a little bit. I agree with your sentiment that Bucky ball is such that they move the ball extremely efficiently on offense. It's tough to play defense against that team.
And you're also exhausted because they make you break the press the way they do.
100%.
So,
But I think T.O. Barrett's defense has been significantly better over the course of the last handful of games. And then third, I thought he was too careless with the ball. And tonight, T.O. Barrett turns the ball over twice, which for the amount of minutes he played, I will take that all day long. So he's better at kind of everything, maybe with the exception of shooting. We'll see. But he's gotten better over the course of the last 2 months, more than any player on this team. So, T.O. Barrett deserves a ton of credit. The Anthony Robinson thing is just getting interesting to me because I don't know what to make of it. Is he a guy at this point in time that should only be playing 15 minutes a game or under 20? Because,
you can't, especially tonight, you couldn't. Like the guards would have been Stone played 29 minutes. He was obviously gassed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can't. I don't think you can put Anthony Robinson at 15 minutes because all of a sudden it's Stone and Barrett are playing the entire game, which against other opponents, I think they could play 35, 36 minutes. But tonight, I just don't think that was feasible. What I will say, Chris, is that tonight's stat line, and you might look at it, but from watching the game, he had 3 points, 1 for 5 from the field, from shooting.
Yep.
He had 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Like this wasn't one of those performances where, like we've seen a couple where he goes 1 for 9. He has 5 turnovers. Like he came in and he did contribute. No turnovers. He had a steal. Like the 4 rebounds, 5 assists right now for whatever is going on in his head offensively. I thought that when he had the ball breaking the press, he was good. He made the right choice with the ball and he played good defense. If Anthony Robinson is giving you that, which he gave tonight, it's okay that he can't score right now. I'm not saying it's ideal, but you can pass by with him not scoring if he's crashing the boards, if he's giving you defensive performance.
Which he always has done.
But we've even seen his defense, I think, slip. It's really the thing that he hasn't been doing in this kind of funk he has going on, because that's the only way I can describe it. The wall he's hit is he hasn't been taking care of the basketball or getting assists. That's where it's concerning. If he's doing what he did tonight, no turnovers, 5 assists, I'm fine with Anthony Robinson playing 20, 25 minutes.
I still think for this team to be as good as it possibly can be, they need a heck of a lot more out of Anthony Robinson. They need him to be the guy who we saw earlier in the year, who we saw down the stretch last year. I just think they need that. If we're going to be honest, and again, it wouldn't be one of my shows if I didn't poo-poo something, even on like the best night. The Jacob Cruz stuff is just starting to get maddening with me because, again,
I was going to say I was happy with him tonight.
He is such a liability defensively. If you watch, Grant, the opposing offenses go after Jacob Cruz with screens, because they know he's not athletic enough to sort of make up for it. And I'm fine with that if Jacob Cruz is hitting 4 or 5 3-pointers every single game. And he's just not doing that right now. I think they're trying to get him open. It seems to be like, I don't know if they're doing a lot of, double screens or things like that. But I mean, like for me, I just struggle a little bit, with again, Jacob Cruz is on the floor down the stretch as A&M is clawing back and then taking the lead. And I'm sitting there going, how is Sean Phillips not on the floor right now? Because even in his worst, Sean Phillips is a difference-making defensive player, and at first I thought, well, he's got to have 4 fouls. And then I checked the box score. No, he was at 3. So, I'm sitting here and I look at this team and again, at this point in time, if we look at the minutes tonight, you had 4 guys who basically were right around 30 or more, and that's Barrett, Pierce, Mitchell, and Stone. And it feels like that's kind of where you got to go.
Yeah.
Sean Phillips played 20, Robinson played 25, Jacob Cruz 22. I would rather see more minutes out of both Robinson and Phillips and fewer out of Cruz at this point in time. I know at some point that rotation gets so thin that you do risk not being real good, defensively or even offensively down the stretch if you're just gassed. But again, they got to figure something out with Cruz offensively where he is getting more looks. And if he's not making them, then he's not making them. And
tonight, like to your point, he didn't miss a shot. 3 for 3 from the field, made 2 threes. I think he had a layup and made 3 free throws that he got fouled on a 3-pointer. So he basically had 3 threes. Like I can't be mad at him offensively because at least he's not chucking up the shots. Like he's taking his open looks. He's got to find a way to get more open looks.
It's the difference between him and Tamar Bates and Caleb Grill from last year. Yeah. Those guys' athleticism allowed them to get shots. And on top of that, they were legit driving threats. So people had to play them off a little bit. And I just don't think Cruz is as good of a shooter as either of those two guys, which is that's not a shot. I mean, those two guys were 2 of the best in the country a year ago. But, again, Cruz, I hate to say it, is a smidge of a one-trick pony. And you got to make sure that if you're a one-trick guy, that you are doing that trick and you're doing it a lot. So that's all I got to say. So, and I will say, I'm glad you popped up Corey Land on this one. No change in Ken Palm. I
want to know Corey Land. I didn't check this morning. I thought Missouri was in the low 50s coming into this one, and now they're 52. I thought they moved up. I mean, I could be wrong, Chris, but 52 is still a fine spot. That's where most teams, especially Power 5 teams around there in KenPom, get in. I'm assuming once the net helps, Mizzou will be in the top 60 in that as well. I thought they moved. I could be wrong here. A&M's at 35 now. I thought Mizzou moved up a few spots. I'm not sure.
I can't imagine how this win would not affect their standing. And just again, the road quad ones are they're tough to come by, and this is definitely a good one for the Tigers. Tigers do win this one by a final of 86-85 in College Station. They improved to 17-7 on the year, 7-4 in SEC play. It seems, Grant, that the standings in the SEC seem to be crystallizing a little bit, and it does feel like we might, kind of sort of have what we're looking for. I mean, the contenders and the pretenders sort of split a little bit at this point in time. I mean, if we look at the bottom part of the conference where you've got OU and LSU and South Carolina and Mississippi State and even Ole Miss at this point in time, Auburn, they're fading a little bit. Georgia is just a different team than when they came into Columbia and won. So you look at it and you've got Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Vandy, Mizzou, A&M, and Texas. And it seems like that might be your top 8 at this point in time. A lot of jockeying for position. The Tigers obviously have multiple games, I guess, of the group we just mentioned. They've got 7 games left on the season. 5 are against that top group. So, I mean, the one thing that we're going to know for sure about this team when the season ends, regular season ends, is, where is this group? Because they will be battle tested with these final 7 games of the season.
Yeah, they will be. And Mizzou, I mean, they're in a 1, 2, 3, 5-team tie for 4th place in that coveted double bye in the SEC tournament. If you're able to get to that, you're kind of in lock status if you're a top 4 team in the SEC, I think. And the good thing is they play Arkansas at home. They play Tennessee at home. They play Vandy at home. They play Texas at home. So all those teams you just mentioned, they get at home. And yeah, they have to go to Oklahoma. They have to go to Miss State later in the year. But you're kind of playing with house money if by the end of the year, all of a sudden, if you're at 9 wins going into the stretch of, I mean, I'm a big fan, Chris, of looking ahead, playing the schedule game. But you now have 7 games left and you're on 7 wins. If you win even 2 of your next 4, you're going into Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, that stretch going. If we pick up 1, we're probably in. If we pick up 2, we're kind of locked in and might be able to improve our seeding. So that's what this win does for them. I mean, I can't just express enough how big it was. And if you can consolidate, that's my word. You have to consolidate the momentum and go beat Texas on Saturday. And all of a sudden, I think we'll be talking high hopes for this team in the tournament hopes.
Couldn't agree more. This is the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. He is Grant Salzman. I'm Chris Pelican. And the Mizzou Central postgame show is brought to you by our home business banking partners at Home Bank. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business is not just about numbers, it's about relationships. And with Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Home Bank member FDIC, more than a bank. They are your business partner, and they do bring us the money moment of the game. And Grant Salzman, I'll start off with you. Give me your money moment of the game in this one.
Oh, I think without a doubt, it's Dennis Gates' call. The play he draws up for the alley-oop to Sean Phillips. I mean, we haven't talked a ton about the end game, the execution, which I'd love to get into, but it's coming right out of the timeout he used, and all it was, hey, let's get Mark Mitchell and ISO and let him go to work. It didn't work out. Then you get a second chance of it, second bite of the apple, and it was an unbelievable play call. All the attention goes to Mark Mitchell, which it happened a lot tonight. Mitchell only had 9 points, but, oh, yeah, he had 8 assists. So A&M put a ton of attention on Mitchell, made other guys beat him, and he threw a perfect pass to Sean Phillips for the dunk. Great screen by Trent Pierce, who also had a ton of attention as a scorer after the night he had 2 guys on him, set a great back pick, and it just worked out to perfection, Chris.
I would say that is 1A and 1B, just a great defensive sequence in the final 5 seconds of the game. I think every Mizzou fan who's had their heart broken 10,000 times was just wondering what it was going to look like, for A&M to win that thing. And instead the Tigers bow up and they play a really, really nice defensive sequence where, they were not overly physical to the point where the referee could change the game. They just stayed in the way, stayed in front, hands up, and made A&M take a really, really tough shot. So, again, I think the last 2 plays of the game, you could make a case, both of those, the money moment of the game. And the money moment of the game is brought to you by Home Bank, the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. This is the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. Tigers win by a final of 86-85 in College Station to improve to 17-7, 7-4 in SEC play. Next up, a Valentine's Day tilt with the Texas Longhorns. And I think before we kind of start wrapping things up, I did want to jump on Brian Kinsey's remark, which I think is 100% right on. Only 9 turnovers tonight. Both of the point guards played pretty well. When you think about 9 turnovers, especially against a team with that kind of high octane defense, that all they do is try to force turnovers. Hopefully we are seeing the evolution, because 9's a low number for this team. They've been 12, 13, 14 most of the year. So again, give this team credit. They were thrown into the fire and did a really, really nice job. So, T.O. Barrett, Anthony Robinson, Jaden Stone, obviously handling the ball still a lot. I mean, again, I hope that this team is finding its rhythm, because when we sort of dreamed about this group early in the season, I think it looked a lot like this. I wasn't sure. I think maybe Javon Porter would have had a bigger role, but that's just been kind of a different situation. But at the end of the day, I mean, the 7 who are playing, I don't mind it. I think it's good. I don't think it's at this point in time that you need to waste any more minutes trying to develop, Trent Burns or Honor Boateng, who's obviously, gone for hopefully not, super long, but Nicholas Randall doesn't need minutes at this point in time. It's Luke Northweather doesn't need minutes at this point in time. They have found a nice little rotation and a rhythm, and these are their best guns. These are the guys who should make or break this season, and we know these next 7 games are going to do just that.
I have one question to that kind of point. Let's say, God forbid, someone gets hurt or fouls out, gets in foul trouble. Who's the one guy on the bench that you would have, if he needs to play 5 minutes at the end of the game, that you would have confidence in to go in the game and not look terrible? My answer, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's Sebastian Mack. I think the first guy, the 8th guy off the bench right now, if needed, a guy that, I'm not saying he's going to win you a game, but I really don't think Sebastian Mack's the guy that's going to lose you the game. I mean, the game he hasn't had, and I know he's appeared sparingly. He hasn't had this. He's had like 2 turnovers since the month of November, and he played a lot in December. Like he's a guy I think can just handle the offense for you enough. Like I'm not saying he could do what Anthony Robinson's doing right now, but I don't know if he would be much worse than Anthony Robinson, at least on the offensive end right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy because he's got experience at this point in time. You know what his game is. You know he's going to touch the ball and he's going to try to attack the basket. But again, I mean, he is a guy with experience. I think he's an okay defender. It would be very clear if they had to lengthen their bench that Sebastian Mack would be.
Is that your answer?
Without any doubt.
Someone else. Okay.
I don't think there's anyone who's really very close to that. I mean,
Porter was healthy, but nobody really knows what.
Something's weird there. And, at this point in time, you wonder if he's just holding off for the medical red shirt or that sort of thing.
Reminds you a lot of Isaiah Mosley.
Yeah. I would say that I just don't, he's not played in nearly long enough for him to come in and be an impact guy at this point in time. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our guy, Samuel Howell, coming in, shooting and scoring. No. I'm not even talking about Grant answering those. I love the one before it. This is no way to get an NIT home game. Samuel Howell, you get my post of the night. That is my favorite right there, without any question. And it is very true because right now I think this team is in the NCAA tournament as of this second. That could change massively over the course of the next couple of weeks. It certainly probably will. But again, I just don't know how you look at tonight and don't feel good about this team. They are going to make March fun for us, which is all I think I wanted. They win 86-85 in College Station over Texas A&M. Just a great win for the Tigers. Grant, let's start putting a bow on this thing. Your thoughts on a fun night, a night where the pulse got racing, where this team is right now, and where you want to see them come Saturday night.
Yeah, season defying, and I don't care how they look versus Texas. This does not need to be one of those that I'm looking for style points. Go win the game, because if you go win that game, you're on the doorstep of being in the NCAA tournament, which, again, I say it every show, but nobody would expect that after the December that they had. What a job by Dennis Gates so far in SEC play. If he gets into the NCAA tournament this year, it's by far his best coaching job probably ever. And Samuel Howell says, protect the den. And I'll say this, keep going. I mean, after this, you're probably a 10 seed. Keep going. See how high you can climb. I mean, let's say you only lose one more game in the SEC, 2 more games. You'd be pretty hard to not get up to that 7-6 line if you just keep winning. So let's see it, Missouri. Just keep going. I mean, sky's the limit right now for this team in SEC play. But on the same note, the floor and the ceiling are a large disparity. I mean, they can lose to anybody, but I really think they can beat just about anybody, at least in the SEC, which they've already proven this year.
Yeah, I think, again, you like playing the schedule game, and it's hard not to like playing that game as well. And you look at what they've got left on the season, and it's one of these deals.
No guaranteed wins.
There's no guaranteed wins. And you know what the truth is? There's really, I think playing at Arkansas is going to be a really tough game. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I'm telling you, if you can go into College Station and win that game, there's not a game that's a guaranteed loss on this schedule either. And again, like you said, there is a huge swath of from top to bottom of where this team could end. That's what makes this thing fun. This is where Dennis Gates is going to earn his money. This is where Mark Mitchell's legacy is going to be cemented. They have got basically 3+ weeks between regular season games and the SEC tournament to really establish themselves and decide whether this is going to be a team that, makes some noise in March, or whether they're not even a part of the dance at all. So, Grant, it is always a fun, my friend. I very much appreciate you jumping on tonight. Tigers win a great one by a final of 86-85 in College Station over Texas A&M. They are back at it on Valentine's night, Saturday night against Texas in Columbia. A huge game, according to Grant and everyone else who has 2 eyes and likes this team. So, very much looking forward to that one. And folks, we will see you then. Again, for Grant, I'm Chris. This has been the Mizzou Central Postgame Show right here on STL Sports Central. We'll see you this weekend.